And
Buddy, Shabbat Shalom.
Yep.
Good to see you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, you guys. How are you? Good. Now, would it be comfortable for you to? Oh, that'd be lovely. All right, everybody. Well, I hope that we're landing and finding a little bit of Shabbat peace coming into our temple home. Those of us who are here for the first time, welcome. Those of us who are old friends here many, many times, welcome. We can all feel the peace and beauty and absorb that new sanctuary smell. And we begin every service in joyful song. So I'm glad that Mando Man, Josh, is here. And we're all part of the choir. So feel free to lift your voices and join in this wordless melody. Now, our we've sung this before, now that each verse ends with the refrain. That together. So if you don't remember what part we're at, that's home base. Yeah. The joy of being together, our community is rendered beautifully in the songs. Beautiful. We dwell together, brothers, sisters, community, friends together. Back from the top. Sound great. poem by the modern poet Alden Solomon called Come Beloved. And he writes, if you listen, listen. If you listen, you will hear Shabbat descend from her distant place, gently clearing the air of the steady buzz of the mundane, gently inviting you to stillness, gently preparing the space for the arrival of holiness. If you listen, just listen. If you listen, you will hear the arrival of luminous wonder, a radiance and glory that touches your heart so that love pulses through your veins. The gates of your soul burst open. You run through them, skipping, singing, Maher Ahu, hurry, beloved. How long since your hands touched mine? How long since your lips brushed these tired eyes? How long since I rested in you? Ivamoe, for the time has come. The time has come to reunite, and tears of surrender, shimmering with the taste of honey, will pour through you like grace from God's patient well. V'chonenu ki me'olam, if you listen, listen, listen. Shabbat is a time for reunions of sorts. It's a time for a spiritual home base that we have every single week to find ourselves after a life and a week full of many demands and obligations, an opportunity to find one another, to reach out to loved ones, those we care about, and find reconnection. It's thought of as a time of a loving reunion between God and the people of Israel who love each other so, so very much. And so it's very fitting, we'll also have a special anniversary lesson a little later for the lovebirds in the front. If we could take this opportunity, because I know we have some new friends here in the sanctuary, to perhaps find somebody sitting near to you whom you haven't yet greeted for Shabbat and wish them a Shabbat Shalom, offer a word of greeting. And
and happy
yeah, it's awesome.
I want to you guys. Yeah.
If you have any questions, I used to teach economics.
And Sandy and Dick Wayland. We need Sandy and Dick, please.
And you're two.
So we're glad it's Sandy and Dick Wayland, lighting by candles. We'd like to follow along with the platform. I'm sorry to interrupt the schmoozing, but there'll be plenty more. There are there'll be plenty more after the service. You can follow along with the words of the blessing on page 120 if you would like. And for those of you who have brackets in your prayer book at the bottom of the pages, just look for those brackets. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. Whatever you do. Let's see.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat begins on page 130. This is the most loving service in all of Judaism because it was written by these medieval poets who lived in the north of Israel, in a beautiful mountain town called Shabbat. And they combined these ancient psalms, which were already in the Torah, with their new compositions, which expressed a longing for God, a longing for reconnection, perhaps even a longing for their homeland. Yeah, that's an interesting historical tidbit, by the way. They were living in Israel, but they missed their homeland of Spain because many of them were kicked out in the 1490s. As we know, Columbus didn't just sail the ocean blue, right? And so this story is the story of estrangement and the hope for reconciliation, which is so paradigmatic to the Jewish story. And it's right here with this loving beach house in Kabbalah Shabbat, page 130. Page 130. I'm going to go to page 134 at the bottom. The moment approaches of that unification, that reconnection, that finding of oneness of self and other, of us and our loved ones, of the people Israel and God. Come friend, let us go receive the beauty of Shabbat together. So this has a call and response part when we get to the refrain. So it goes like this. I'll sing the line, you repeat. Lecha Dodi. No. That was a test. So the first part is a true call and response. Lecha, the next part, when I sing, Dodi, sing, Dodi, try, Dodi. Nice. I realize that's a little high. Thank you. This is a very tall song. It goes very low and very high. So you might want to sit straight up and take a deep breath. We're on a wild ride. Here comes the call and response. Let's practice it. Rise and face the entrance. $142. Moody, let's. Well, in honor of a special anniversary, I'd like to invite Stuart and Jody to please come to the Bima. And we're going to sing one more Kabbalah Shabbat selection, which we've sung once or twice here at TBT, but it might be a little new. So we'll teach the refrain. It's on page 129, page 129. Okay. And one of the traditional love poems that's recited throughout the Jewish year, especially on Shabbat and then Passover, is from the Song of Songs with Shir HaShirim. So this is made up of a pastiche of verses from that book. And it starts, Anilo, my beloved is mine, and I'm my beloved's. Is that what's inside your ring? Beautiful. Also often recited under the chuppah at weddings. Okay. So do you guys want to go to the microphone so everyone can hear you? We can do some harmonies too. So the refrain just goes like this. Let's try that together. Okay, let's have one more thing. Do, re, mi, fa, ni, do, ro, eh. Fa, do, sha, ni, sa. Do, re, mi, fa, ni, do, ro, eh. Fa, do, sha, ni, li, ma, si, li. My beloved is mine, I am my beloved, who browses, who frolics among the lilies. Or in your case, it might be
Among the roses.
I was gonna say who browses among the medical literature or something of that nature. How romantic is that? Well, it's very nice to have, oh, can I stay up here? Because now we're going to give you a blessing.
Oh.
It's very nice to have both of you, Sue and Jody, here. With, of course, your daughters, Becca and Ellie, here to celebrate this momentous occasion. Now, would you like to share what number anniversary? 30. 30 years of marriage. No small feat. And you celebrated that very week.
Yeah. Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
At a board meeting.
Yeah.
Again, how many weeks? Well, I would say that's extra romantic because it shows the depth of your commitments and your many commitments, which truly you share in great number, both to one another, to your family, to our community, and to the Jewish people. And you've demonstrated that in the past 30 years of your own special journey, a journey which has included, raising two beautiful young women who are now both adults. It includes a journey of discovering and rediscovering Judaism together. And I know that that's played such a pivotal role in your lives, just as your experience of Judaism has played a pivotal role in our community's life. So it's very special to be able to offer you this blessing this night at this meaningful milestone for you. Your part is time. Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, bless this wonderful couple on this the anniversary of their marriage. May you reflect with deep gratitude on the years that have passed, and I know that you do reflect on gratitude every day. Many and varied have been your experiences since the moment that you found one another. May you recall the joys that have sweetened your lives. May you be thankful for the strength that has allowed you to weather the storms that sometimes have shaken you. God, you have been with this couple through thick and thin, through all their years together. So may you continue to bless them with your presence in the years to come.
I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine.
Out of all generations, we give thanks for the blessings that have placed on our marriage.
And when we reflect upon the day of our union with this joy be with us always. Our way of life, loving and good, as we help each other bear burdens and share joys. Let these be years of health and contentment, of unclouded happiness in the circle of our family and loved ones, of unbroken service of love and caring to those who are far and those who are near.
Okay, you can all say together, amen. Ready? You guys can go on either side of mom and dad. Okay. Okay. God bless you and keep you. We got to shine on you and give you grace. Isa Adonai, Anavecha, Yasecha, Shabbat. May God favor you with the greatest Jewish gift of all, the gift of shalom and shlemut, of peace and wholeness, of fulfillment and love. Together we can say, Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. I have to say, these past couple of weeks have been so special as I've been back from leave because we've been able to celebrate milestone birthday, baby naming, bat mitzvah, now an anniversary. We also, of course, had the sad occasion last week of the memorial service, which is, of course, an important function in the life of the synagogue. And the only happy occasion that we haven't had yet is a wedding. I'm not going to look at anybody, but I'm just saying. The happy occasion yet to come in this space as we consecrate it with all of life's blessings and all of the life cycle moments will be that wedding. And I have to say that I saw the planting committee working hard. I don't know if you've all seen the beautiful flowers out there, but take a look as you're on your way out. And somebody was saying, well, those would be great for the couple to take their photos with all the beautiful flowers, just like in the songs, right? And then they go to the veranda for the cocktail hour, and then here for the football. What could be better? And now we're ready to do it. So if that's not a thank you, mazel tov moment, then I don't know what it is. All right, friends, we'll continue now in our service with that joy in our hearts, continuing with Ma'ariv. The Baruch Hu is on page 146. I invite everybody to please rise. Page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Amen. Page 148, we can read together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who defeats the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness, darkness from light, transforming day into night, distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, ever living God, and you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you on high, he brings on evening for roof, to top of the line, come on, read, 150. Torah Israel, for mitzvot, what's not in part of it. If you're thinking of connect, not be up with who can come. If it's not be for us now. Page 152. Shabbat Yisrael Adonai Adonai. Asher Hoseki and Fam, and the Hermes Misravi, Yod Ani Adonai Elohim Adonai Elohim Page 159. I would invite a volunteer who wouldn't mind reading in English this intention to direct our hearts to the freedom song, where it says, sing the song of men and women. Who'd like to read that out loud? Nice and loud. All the way in the back, Joshua.
Sing the song of men and women, running in understanding and respect. Song of God's miracles in earth protected and cherished. A gift for our children for generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content. Soldiers home, believe no more. The song of the woman.
Go dancing, guys. Here we go. The rabbinic model of prayer in general, and especially of this next section of the service called the Amidah, is the approaching of a peasant to royalty. And you can probably figure out in this metaphor who's the royalty and who's the peasants. Now, there's what to appreciate about this analogy. It instills, I believe, a fair amount of humility for a human being to enter a space of prayer, put aside some of the ego, feel on the same level playing field along with everybody else, regardless of station or status, accomplishment, or reputation. And on the other hand, it's just so deeply hierarchical and can interfere with the modern person's sense of what the encounter is all about, of what the prayer moment is all about. So if the image of meeting a king or queen and coming into their courts is helpful to you, then I invite you to reside in them for this time. If it is not helpful for you, then I invite you to choose a different metaphor. And I'm not going to tell you which metaphor to choose. I'm going to invite you to consider the metaphor that stirs your heart as an opportunity to encounter the infinite, to contemplate life and love and happiness and loss and need and pain and sorrow and gratitude and all of the other things that are part of the human soul. It could be that each of us come into this space with our own metaphor, with our own understanding, with our own feeling of God. And nevertheless, we join in our voices and in our spirits in the same spiritual sentiment. I invite you to please rise together and turn to page 164 as we begin that together. Adonai, Shabbat Tikvah, Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. 166. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Eloheinu, don't make us forsake to be. They call me. There's no fasting on board the mouths. Who may be good for our evening? Let my shimo be a Melech Ozer Moshiach. So let's go swim, go swim, go swim. Move on to us. Who make our living and human soul. We strength in our If I was on body, who knows? Who Ready to continue with your own silent prayer. We follow the words in the prayer book from page 180, or turn to Tefillah Shabbat, the prayer of your own hearts. And feel free to have a seat when you're ready, but not a moment before. Open the words of my meditations of my heart. Oh God, and my oh, say shalom, we know. I say shalom, oh, it's fine. Like me now. Oh, say shalom, we know. Say shalom, it's fine. Oh, say shalom, we know. It's not. It's a custom here at Temple Beth Tikvah that whenever we gather for prayer, whether it's Friday or Saturday morning, our holiday service, we always offer Misha Beirach, which is a prayer for those who are in need of healing. And so I'm going to share the names of those made known to Temple Beth Tikvah of our members and loved ones. And if you would like to add the names of your own loved ones afterwards, please feel free. And thank you very much, Ellie, for giving up the words. We think of our temple members, April Diamato, Norma Diamond, Josh Lipschitz, Patty Sussman, Mark Warner, Eric Nemitz, Larry Pepper, Roman Davis, Alan Myers, and John Shapiro Reed. And also our loved ones, Barak Yaakov and Abraham Sarah, Tamar Bat Chaim Ben Leah, Jill Bakar, Connie and Brazil, Mickey Bart, Jay Fliss, Josh Rusinko, Michelle Rusinko, Flo Siegelman, Babs Weiss, Joanne Kusula, Jack Dock, Bart Young, Mark Ostreicher, Matthew Pincus, Sydney Scher, Soraya Casey, Marvin Goldberg, John M. Steenbergen, Saffron Castle, Monica Posiela, Phoebe Packard, Phoebe Williams, Paul Frisman, Bruce Petroff, Stephanie Maurer-Smith, Raymond Wolf, Kim Weeder, Tim Maurer, Ben Heck, Marion Nicken, Martha Potter, Mark Potter, Paul Posey, Gloria Newell, Sid Meyer, Carol Bartlett, Adrian Wasserman, Trevor Jones, Peter David, Aaron Bordover, Kevin Susi, Emily Berry, Ira Weiss, Dee Rosenberg-Raba, Davis Chamberlain, and Maureen Victor. There are others who we would add to our prayers tonight for healing. Please feel free to share their names loud or in part, whether you're here or in chat on Zoom. Please. Marty Katz. Carol. Turn to these words, Mishaberach Avotenu, Mishaberach Avotenu, may our blessed one who blessed our ancestors, bless us too. Mishaberach Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Mishaberach Avotenu, Sabrari, bless our fathers, hear our Lord, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, bless us and bless us with the power of your kingdom. Bless us with the power of your word. The secret of understanding. Strengthened by the power of your love. Bless our Father, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer. A couple of months ago, as some of you know, I developed a chat GPT habit, and I went down many rabbit holes to try to reconcile with this technology. Is it an amazing tool? Is it going to destroy human civilization? Somewhere in between. And one of the things I found is that it told me, I asked it to tell me midrash from Jewish tradition, and it told me midrashes that were not true. It created some very interesting stories, but they were not from midrash. I am going to actually share a midrash with you that is, in fact, from the midrash, a collection called the Rabbah, Leviticus Rabbah, and it teaches that all Israel are considered a single nefesh, which is hard to translate, but it's something like a single entity, a single spirit. It says that when one limb of the entity is hurting, the entire entity feels it. So here's what it says. All Israel are considered a single entity. They are all responsible to one another as guarantors. In Hebrew, kulam arevim zeh lazeh. The Midrash explains that this Jewish ethic of mutual responsibility, well, he uses a parable to explain. So it says, there was a ship sailing the ocean. One of the passengers took out a drill, maybe you've heard this one, and started making holes in the hull. The others asked the person with the drill, "What are you doing?" The guy replied, "What's your business? I'm drilling under my own seat." They answered, "Yes, but when water fills the ship, we all go down." Perhaps you've heard this story in a different context or in a joke, or even just in a figure of speech. We're all in the same boat. It's possible to interpret this story on several different levels. On a family level, on a community level, on an interpersonal level, or even more broadly, societally speaking, we're responsible for one another. We're all in the same boat. So of course, this is a story that came to mind for me in the last couple of weeks quite a lot, as I have been reading about the disaster that's all over the news with the Titan submarine. You've probably heard of this story too. A custom-built submersible that was meant to reach the wreckage of the Titanic in the Atlantic was lost last week, and very tragically, all of the passengers aboard perished. I think the story is actually an excellent example of the lesson that the Midrash is trying to teach us in several important ways, some which might not be so obvious. The first way is about how the hubris of one human being can lead to disaster for many human beings. In this case, the vessel was not built to industry specifications, but rather in a very experimental manner. The materials, and this is not a joke, came from Radio Shack and a local camping store. A noted engineer who was invited to participate in the voyage had refused and warned vociferously, including in a formal letter, of the dangers, but the charisma and persuasive power of the CEO won over people across multiple voyages from multiple countries, despite their misgivings. Now, I hope that this catastrophic failure will serve as a warning for other entrepreneurs, people who are very anxious to ready, fire, aim, and just do something, which can be very exciting, but can lead to all kinds of horrible consequences. And it's a reminder, of course, to remember that safety guidelines and industry standards, even though they're boring and slow everything down, exist for a reason. Experimentation is a wonderful thing, but not at the expense of people's lives. Now, tragically, a father and a son were lost together on board, and it's an unbelievable story. The son had actually significant misgivings about the trip, but decided to go with his father in order to please him. There was a different father-son duo where the son had felt so concerned about it that he made both of them back out. Now, there's even a larger concern here, one that I would invite us to consider, perhaps allows us to examine the holes we are drilling in the whole of our own societies. And one has to do with the manner of attention given to this story the last couple of weeks. I mean this in several different ways. One, the attention of governments and military assets, including rescue boats and helicopters and personnel, and also the attention of the media and the conversations on social media, some of which have been quite perverse, desecrating the memories of those who have lost their lives, making fun of them for those stupid billionaires who decided to do something dumb. So let's start with the first point. I don't know about you, how many of you have had your social media feed full of this story in the last couple of weeks? For me, it's sort of been everywhere. Now, every year, countless thousands of refugees sadly lose their lives attempting to cross national borders of various sorts, fleeing violence and persecution, or human trafficking, political instability in their home countries. I remember that when I lived in Israel, these stories of flotillas, as they call them, throughout the Mediterranean were simply gut-wrenching. They would happen every single year. Families with nowhere else to turn in the war-ravaged country would flee by boat and often would not make it, but the profiteering smugglers didn't care. Occasionally, these stories would receive some media attention outside of the region, but not often. Yet, The whole world knows of the name Titan and those people on board. But lest we think that our biases always lead us in favor of wealth, there also has been a huge number of disgusting social media memes mocking the billionaires who lost their lives. Now, this should bother us equally, because one of the things that Jewish values demand of us is to, in every situation, remember that every human being is equal in worth and dignity, their life has equal value. B'Tselem Elohim bara oto, it says in Genesis. Every human God created in God's image. Hence, every life lost, whether at sea or anywhere else, whether in a vessel, plywood or carbon fiber, those losses are equally tragic. Billionaires don't deserve to be lampooned just because they're rich, and migrants don't deserve to be forgotten just because they're poor. If the loss of the Titan is a tragedy of creative imagination, then its aftermath is a tragedy of moral responsibility. Luckily, the material that makes up the whole of our society is not beyond repair. Shabbat shalom. Continue now with the conclusion of our service, starting at page 586. Page 586. Please rise. Shabbat asan kiloyeh velo saman kishtakot adam Shabbat saman kain vegora vegor kefol Vana korein Unishahani Lodi Lefenanda Mafei Amati Page 591. Feet. This is called your death is not a one-time offense. Your death is not a one-time offense, like a tornado or a bad first date that harden into memory the minute they're over. No, you die over and over every day in more ways than I can count. It happens when I expect it, and especially when I don't. I lose you all over again when I eat a salad with the tangy blue cheese dressing or a bowl of cold borscht, when I notice the nummy knit of an argyle sweater vest, when I hear the buzzing of a Cessna kissing the clouds beneath the blue sky. And when something makes me laugh, I think you would have laughed too. I lose you again on birthdays and anniversaries, when your dependable sweet call never comes, no matter how much I expect it. I lose you at Passover, when your bowls and bowls of charoset from around the world are missing from the table. And now there will never be enough charoset on the table ever again. I will lose you again and again when your children get married and my children become bar and bar mitzvah, and your grandchildren are born and you can't hold them and love them and make them. You are so absent now, where you are always present, and your death isn't in the past. It keeps happening over and over again, every day, in ways both tiny and enormous. You keep dying, and I keep grieving. My Rabbi Melinda Pink, not her brother, Rabbi Hannah Pink. At this time of memory, we recognize those in our community who have suffered loss, whether it's in recent days or at this time in years gone by. I think of the Glazer family. Sean and Kevin have lost their father, Martin Rubin's son. in a period of shloshim. And I invite you to please rise when I read the name of your loved one if you're here to observe a yard site. As we remember Beverly Tudor, Rhoda Fliss, Bert Gould, Jenny Levy, Robert E. Shore, Eva Summer, Helen Gessen, Faye Lazaroff Sachs, Bertha Schlam, Elsie Berman, Peter Casey, Holly Glossman School, Marie Key Lesage, Matt Mallinson, Paul Tessler, and Sheila Berg. Anyone else in the period of mourning who would like to rise and please be recognized before our community. I invite us all to please rise as we join our mourners in solidarity and comfort at their time of loss. Page 598. Yifgadal v'yikadash v'yirabah v'yalmad yivrach v'yotei v'yamlich machotei v'chayei hon v'yomei hon v'chayei v'chol beit Yisrael v'adalah v'zman hariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei havam v'tzaf v'lam v'yomei amen. Yivarach v'yishtabach 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 v'yinaseh. V'yikadam v'yikalev v'yikabal shnei v'yikudeshah v'yikudeshah. Ne'ilam v'yikol b'yirchata v'shirata tush v'yirchata v'nechemata da'avilam v'yamad v'yimru amen. Yehei shmama v'apa v'yishmaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'yimamav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And the source of harmony, bring peace into the world and comfort to the hearts of all who believe. As together we say, Amen. Oh, say, Shalom be See, you needs to come up, so this is going to be us.
Hello, everybody. And warm welcome to all the guests who are with us tonight. My name is Stu Weinzimmer, and I am the chair of the Religious Activities Committee of the Board of Directors. And I also just want to thank God for that lovely blessing that He gave to Jody and me. Please join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning for mindfulness and meditation, and then at 9 a.m. for Torah study led by Dr. C. The Zoom links are in your inbox. The Social Justice Committee, Zahir, and the refugee family he has taken in would like to extend their gratitude to the TBT community for the support they have received so far. They are so grateful for our generosity. If you are interested in helping, check your inbox for more information. Save the dates in July for many fun things. Our beach Shabbat on July 14th, which will be at the East Ward Beach in Madison. A scavenger hunt with a visit from the ice cream truck here at TBT on July 19th. A community Tisha B'Av observance on July 26th, that will be on Zoom. And a Shabbat with a special welcome for baby Levi Moss. Levi. And a pop-up dinner on July 28th. Are you looking for a way to celebrate a milestone or honor a loved one? Consider sponsoring a Shabbat Oneh. It's fun to do with friends, and the Religious Activity Committee will help with the details. If you're interested in sponsoring, please contact Lydia in the TBT office. Parents of religious school students, please remember to send in your religious school registration form to office@tbtshoreline.org, and there is an early bird discount. TBT is looking for members to join the choir. No previous experience is required. Bring your enthusiasm and excitement, and we will provide the rest. Choir will meet on Tuesdays at 6:15 in the sanctuary. Again, Shabbat Shalom.
Those of you who weren't last, the choir is really sounding better than ever. I'm so excited for the holidays that are coming here. It's just going to be wonderful. So, and it's going to be here, which is not the least reason that it will be wonderful. Yes, no phone calls to Guilford High School and Woodwinds. No, they're very nice to us. It's nice to be in our own space. Okay, well, this is a holiday weekend on the American calendar, kind of, I guess, closest holiday weekend to the holiday. And so I thought I would choose an Americana melody, but I don't know. A lot of you probably figure it out pretty quickly. Josh, this one's a D if you want to play along. We'll sing I Don't Know Love, page 625. We'll make Kiddush together. Please stay and schmooze a little bit. If you have a minute before you're going to dinner. And we'll raise our voices one last time for the evening. I don't know. I hear my love. It's in God. There is a sun. That's so long. I died that believe God. It was my home. I got it. They do that now. They ain't ashamed. I feel God. They lyrics. Every time the sky, they look at me. If I go on, it's so happy. Then it's alright. They could be seen. I don't see. And I don't see your hand. I feel free. It's shine. They are here. Very early. I don't who's landed it? This land is yours. This land is mine. From gathering on to your God. A regular boy. Sweet water. This land was made. You have me. This land is, that's your name. This land is mine. This land was oh, this land was made. This land was made. Now, some of you will be singing the other 11 verses on the way home. We turn to page 123, we make Kiddush together. And we don't have to stay in our seat. Why don't we all come together? We had an Oneg go on the other side. So, like Stu said, you can be the next Oneg sponsor. Yeah, come on, everybody. Let's get this one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu borei bari ha'olam. Baruch atah Eloheinu. There shall be
Oh, I guess I'll play back to that one.
That was not from the Bible. That was
What? I know. Hello, how are you? Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Joe? Hi. Good to see you. I'm sorry.